Welcome to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, book club and podcast with your hosts, Sarah and Kit, two friends who talk about all things books, food, and travel. Welcome, readers, eaters, and travelers to Read, Eat, Travel, Repeat, the book club and podcast where books take us beyond the page. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Kit.
So before we dive into today's episode, you may have noticed there's only two of us, not three, if you're watching the video or listening. We want to take a moment to share a little update. Our wonderful, fantastic co-host, bestie, Marianne, has decided to step back from the podcast to focus on her teaching career and this amazing business she started called Paws and Pages Boutique. Super cute, focusing on books and animals because, of course, her dog Oswald is hilarious.
The mascot of the world.
Gets in trouble all the time. We're going to miss her a ton, but we are super excited for this new chapter for her. Can't wait to see everything she accomplishes. And who knows, maybe she'll come back once in a while for an episode. We'll see. Yeah.
And if you are following us on Instagram, you can also hit her up on Instagram. You can find her in our follow list, or you can type in her username. She's Paws and Pages Boutique. Keep up with all of her bookish adventures. If you are local to Florida, you are in luck. You can keep an eye out for Paige, which is her converted. I forget what
I love it. It's a little truck.
It's like a little truck. It's so cute,
adorable.
And it's bright teal. You can't miss it. It's been converted to be like a book goodie truck, and they go to markets all over kind of like that part of Florida. You definitely don't want to miss it. It's super adorable. We are incredibly grateful for everything Marianne has brought to the podcast over the years. When I was typing this and I typed years, I was like,
it has been. It has
been years. And we know you guys will join us in wishing her absolutely nothing but success and happiness. And as Sarah said, we will miss her over here.
I know. But on to this month's book. Today we are talking about Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Did I say that right? McQuiston?
I believe so. That's how I say it.
Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't read the book yet. While we will be giving our initial thoughts and ideas, eventually we do tend to spoil the book. Maybe not the whole book, but usually we're giving some things away.
There's
so
spoilers.
Yep.
But we will let you know when we get to that point. So feel free to listen up to that spoiler warning, give it a pause, and then come back once you've finished reading the book. And this book is kind of an older one, so chances are you've already read it. And as always, we are adult readers who say adult things, so you have been warned.
Yes.
On that front.
All right. This month's book we thought would be appropriate for July, a book where American politics mix with British aristocracy. Enemies to lovers trope is perfection. The verbal tennis match of banter is definitely my favorite part. So while these two characters could not be more opposite, they begin to discover maybe they have more in common than they thought.
And as for the official synopsis on Goodreads, if you are unfamiliar with Red, White, and Royal Blue, first son Alex Claremont Diaz, and there's a quote from the movie. I'm going to remind myself to say it later. First son, Alex Claremont Diaz, is the closest thing to a prince this side of the Atlantic. With his intrepid sister and the Veep's genius granddaughter, they are the White House trio, a beautiful millennial marketing strategy for his mother, President Ellen Claremont.
And international socialite duties do have downsides, namely when photos of a confrontation with his longtime nemesis, Prince Henry, at a royal wedding leak to the tabloids, threaten American-British relations. The plan for damage control, staging a fake friendship between the first son and the prince.
And as President Claremont kicks off her re-election bid, Alex finds himself hurtling into a secret relationship with Henry that could derail the campaign and upend two nations.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
It was.
And my quote from the movie, I'm going to go right to the quote from the movie. Did you watch the movie?
I did. Like after
when they're sitting at the
we
table
recorded last, and I was like, I'm literally sitting down and watching this right now.
Yeah. When they're sitting at the table at like the little diner or restaurant and they're talking about their names, and he's like, that's quite a mouthful.
Yeah.
Like the fucking like double entendre banters, the facial expressions that those actors brought to this movie killed me every time. I was like, oh,
I know. They were adorable. They were adorable.
They were great. And they're great in the book too, but that line stood out for me in the movie, like no doubt.
For sure. All right.
Also, I made a bomb pop.
It's now
turning
purple, isn't it?
I will tulip, if you're watching the video, this was so much cooler looking 10 minutes ago, but it's 10 million degrees here.
Yeah.
There'll be pictures. There'll be recipes.
It should be blue
Don't
on the
worry,
bottom, but
this used to be blue.
The red has already
The
seeped
Cool
down.
Whip is
So.
probably, I keep doing like this.
Yeah.
Too. The Cool Whip is like not providing the barrier it
All right.
promised.
So
anyways.
our initial reactions about this book. I'll go first because I know, Kit, you have a lot more to say.
I have so much to say
about
this book.
So I did not love this book, but I did not hate it either. And I feel like it's growing on me. Maybe the movie helped. A perfect example of not all books are for everyone, but it does not make it a bad book for sure.
100%.
And I started to think like, why? Like, what is it about it that I'm not liking? Because I definitely, the banter, the way she writes, Casey, she goes by they, right? I believe they.
It's so good. I've read several of the books in there.
Like it's so funny. It's so real. Like it feels like a real conversation. So I laughed out loud a lot. But I realized when I read a romance book, I want to see myself in it. And I'm straight. So I don't see myself in it. Doesn't mean it's not good, but there were times when I was like, this is getting a little graphic.
It's like missing that little piece.
The book was more graphic than the movie. So I enjoyed the movie.
The movie did a really good job. Come on.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But there were times when I was like, I'm not sure I needed to know that exact anatomical. But that was really, really what bothered. And then a couple icks, which I'll talk about later, which actually the movie cleared up. Yeah. I felt like, so I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, but 100% a book that I will recommend to people for sure. And want our library to have on its shelf. So
yes.
All right.
And it's a good one. It's a good library shelf book. I feel like.
And it's
some books I'm like,
it's a good book that made me think too. So that's like about my own position, which I know we'll talk about later. Like my own position, my own thoughts, what I like to read, things like that. And I think that's important to have good books, well-written books that have good conversation. So
yeah.
All right.
And I'm so all in on this book. I love this book when it first came out. It was one of my, I like just absolute favorite books for that fall when it came out. And then when the movie came out, it was right after I moved to Colorado and we did like a watch party. Like me and a bunch of friends had a watch party. The number of times we were like screaming into like the ether at each other, like, oh my God, did you see that?
He said that.
Because we all started it at the exact same time. And we're like, are you on this party?
I love that.
It was such a good movie adaptation of a story that I already loved, which sometimes we were like, what if it sucks?
I know. Yeah.
And it was so good. For me, it's one of the rare times where I thought the movie really added.
It is a great
the story
adaptation.
As opposed to, because you can't, there's no way we'll talk about this later, but there's no way you can put everything from a book into a movie.
No.
And I thought this one did such a great job.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, have exactly zero problems seeing myself in an LGBTQIA romance plotline. For me, it's more personalities than anatomy. Yeah. So if, a sassy first son, if it was a sassy first daughter, does not make any difference to how I relate to the character. It's the banter and the personality clash between the two that was like, oh my God, you love each other. And I also just read a different book that has nothing to do with this, but the author put in the description that the trope wasn't enemies to lovers. Oh. It was enemies to idiots to lovers. And I thought that was applicable to this book because it really was. They were enemies. This is another rare case where I felt like they did actually low-key hate each other. Yeah.
But it's because they're dumb. Because they're idiots.
Dumb. Yeah. They're so dumb for each other. And then they fell in love. So I thought this one for me was so much about the personality beyond any sort of gender pairing. Well, so I didn't really have that issue.
And let me tell you, did I have a crush on Alex? Yes. Did I also have a crush on Henry? Yes. Right. I 100% love them as characters.
Yes. When I had this conversation with other people, and I'll get into this later, but this is a huge topic of conversation in library circles. Especially my specialty was collection development and diversity and inclusion. So this was like my niche area of the world when I was a librarian. And one of the huge topics. This is going to get really academic really fast. Dr. Rudine Sims. Oh my God, why am I blanking on her last name? Rudine Sims Bishop. She coined mirrors, windows, sliding glass doors.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that?
Yep.
So that's when you're doing curriculum or collection development, you want people to either be able to see themselves in the story, learn something about themselves in the story, and then have the ability to have a conversation about it.
Yep.
And this book hits all of those marks. But when we were talking about it, what you just said is the other way to engage in a book where the main character's relationship is not your mirror. So it's the, I like both of them.
Right.
This is a dirty way to put it, is like you're watching from the cuck chair.
Yeah.
So you're watching from the side and you're kind of into it.
Yeah.
Because you like both of them. You're like, oh my God, I do. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. And I like them together. And that's the other avenue into a book like this. Either you see yourselves in the character and that's your connection, or you're seeing something else that you're like, oh, I kind of like them. Like, I like those dudes. And that's the window aspect to it. And then, of course, we're on a podcast talking about it. So shout out to Rudine Sims Bishop and her windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors.
And even, I mean,
which I come back to all the time.
It's so smart. But even if somebody, I mean, I'm 49 years old. I know what I like and what I don't, but I also know that there is no part of me that would be lesbian because I've read this and go, nope. So it's that learning something. It's still learning something about yourself, even if it's learning that you're not something. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate 100%. That as well. It's not just like, I don't know. And so many, this will get into, so many people are like, we need to keep these books off the shelves because it's going to tell kids they are. And I'm like, no. Sometimes it might have them go, you know what? I'm not. I thought maybe I was, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. Like,
which is the whole,
that's the point. That's the talking about it. Yeah.
That's the talking about it. And
yes, I do.
And on like the patron. But in school libraries, building relationships with students and seeing what books they take out open up conversations that they would have been afraid to have otherwise. Yeah. So if a student comes in and picks up a book like this obviously was not on my middle school shelf, but a book along the same vein. And then they say, like, do you have any more books like this?
Yes.
And it becomes a conversation and also provides a way for them to realize that they're being seen.
Yes.
And then on the flip side, if you're someone who's reading it and you're like, nope, it's not for me. Like, this is not great story, great book, but this is not.
I'm not relating to it enough.
Yeah. But it does, for especially with students, show that there's still a place on the shelf for it.
100%.
Even if it's not for you, there's a place on the shelf. And that's one of the things that when publishing companies, not necessarily right now, but traditionally, have used the argument of, well, straight readers won't relate to it. And
not every reader is straight.
Not every reader is straight. And what you're saying is, I don't relate to this piece, but I relate to all of the other pieces. Yeah. So it's so much more than just like the sum of the two little parts.
I still read it.
Actually, very similar.
I listened to it, and I kind of by the end, I was just skipping ahead 30 seconds on those parts that I did because I wanted to get to the story.
You know,
you
can just skim by.
Well, and that goes by one of the things I
do that in other books too.
Exactly. I've said this
before.
I'm
like, can I read that?
I know on the podcast, and I say it to people all the time. Back when we used to go to NCTE, I can't remember which conference it was when we went to, and we saw Chris Crutcher speak. I don't remember if you were with me or not. And Chris Crutcher writes a lot of controversial books, right? He writes about things. And he said, when you ban books, when you take those books off the shelf, you are telling those kids that their experiences don't matter. And so I feel the same way about LGBTQIA books. If you're taking them off the shelf, then you're saying, no, we can't have you as part of this narrative. You are not valued. And it's like, it doesn't have to be for everyone. It just has to be for someone.
Yeah. And there's always books where people are like, that is not for me. Like
that's the thing. We talked last month about Yesteryear. Even books like that where you're like, I didn't get it. And others are like, oh my gosh, it's the best book I've read all year. Like, it's, to me,
which is what's so great about like the plethora of books that are out there. I did think that Casey McQuiston's little No, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I skip through these when I'm like listening to a book. I'm like, don't care about your dedication.
Yeah.
So sorry. But when I'm reading a book, I read the dedication.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
always like, oh, who did you dedicate it to? But she put, and to me, it came across as like this was a very intentional love letter to the audience that she wanted to read it, which is to every person in search of somewhere to belong who happened to pick up this book. I hope you found a place in here, even if it was just for a few pages. You are loved. I wrote it for you. Keep fighting, keep making history, and keep looking after one another. Like sometimes you hit those dedications and you're like, oh, so this is a very traditional rom-com, plotline wise.
It is.
Just you suspend disbelief and you go for it. But she had a purpose.
She did.
That she was writing for.
Yeah. But even this is to everyone.
Yeah.
If anyone ever, if any of you, no matter what you want or believe, are in search of somewhere to belong, I hope you find it. Like,
right.
It doesn't have to be like one or the other, you know, like, people always want to like shelve things in a certain way. Like it has to be this and only this. And it's like, why can't it be for everybody? And you take what you want out of it and you.
Okay. This is like so nerdy library again. Does your school library do the stickers on the side?
I think
of the books? So I do genre-based shelving, which is that's my go-to.
That's usually I think what they do, because there's sometimes I walk by and I'll be like, look at the library and I go, this needs to go
There's
here.
tons of research as to why genre-based shelving is better in schools versus the Dewey Decimal System. Notwithstanding the fact that Melville Dewey was a royal douchebag and like super racist. But genre-based shelving allows students to access libraries independently. One of the major arguments that has been had in like collection development over the past like 5 to 10 years is whether or not you should sticker a book LGBTQIA, because that is not a genre.
No, it's not.
It's a classifier. And putting the sticker on it could cue to people who are like looking for that, like, oh, this one. But it also can become a barrier that someone's like, I'm not going to pick that up because of.
I also think in a school.
It's an interesting argument.
In a school library, because I am in a very conservative district.
Correct.
If the wrong person sees that sticker, they're going to be like, nope, pull it. To me, I say put romance. It's just romance. And you know what? The kid picks it up. You look at the cover. I'm going to know right away.
You're going to know
right
away.
Even if you don't, even if it's like a picture of a woods on it with no care, you read the back.
You read the back.
And you tend
Flip
to know.
The first couple pages.
To me, I'm like, let somebody figure it out for themselves, because I don't know.
That's how I did it.
Yeah.
Also, budget-wise, like, I don't want extra stickers.
Well, like we read my book club, my in-person book club, we read The Guncle a couple months ago. I loved that book. Right? It's not technically a romance or whatever, but it kind of is, because he talks about his partner. But if you were to put that as an LGBTQ, like that's not really what it is. So many people would miss it. And it really has nothing to, it's romance, but it's not. Like, it's different than this one. And I don't think you should. Too many labels are bad, I guess. Too many labels are bad.
I agree. Like, label it enough that people can find, like, I like a mystery.
Yeah.
So that they're not. I used to have a problem with kids walking in and being like, I need a horror. And I'm like, great. Mary Downing Hahn is over there. Stephen King's over there. And then they wouldn't have enough time to find what they were looking for.
Right.
But then beyond that, just get into it.
Yeah. So we could go on about this forever, though.
I could talk about library collection development for hours.
And like I said, working in kind of
not what this podcast is about.
Going from a from an inner city school that pretty much anything goes, to more conservative, you have to be careful. Like,
you do.
How to get the right books in the kids' hands that need them, but not offend anyone along the way.
That's going to get even more things
pulled out. It's kind of like, So
it's a tricky little line to walk.
So
I've been very lucky in my schools, but it is a line to walk.
Our plot points.
Yes, back to the book.
I know.
We have been
talking about the book, but still.
We have that. The plot of the book. Back to the plot of the book.
The plot point.
What happens in the book?
The first one, growing up in the spotlight. Yeah. I can't even, I don't think any of us could relate to that. I mean, but I really liked how Casey, they made me believe it. Like, it's got to be hard. I could think the White House trio, like, I mean, we've seen president's children grow up in the White House, and it's rough.
Yeah.
But
It
the
is
fact that the
rough.
three of them kind of have each other, and I kind of love
Yeah.
that. And they're also just trying to be teens, but also sneaking out and
Yeah.
doing things they're
There's
not
so
supposed
many
to. And
like considerations
Yeah.
that I think are relatable in the like surveillance statey kind of way.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like if you're a teenager trying to sneak out now, your parents going to be able to track you on their
Mhm.
phone. They're going to be able to like there's
Right,
people
right.
are watching.
Right.
And if you do something stupid out there, there's a camera in front of your face. Like there is that
Somebody is
consideration
always
that
watching.
someone's always
Yeah.
watching. And then for these two and the sister, because it's like on steroids.
Mhm.
Because not only is someone always watching, but you're representing more than just yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be Alex or Henry
Nope.
out and about doing things.
No.
You're Alex, first son of the United
Yeah.
States, and Henry, heir to the throne, or, third in line to the throne.
Yeah.
And someone's watching, which is a crazy amount of pressure.
I was super fascinated by the fact too, like the pressure they have, but then because they weren't going with how do you know the word I'm looking for? Expected.
Yeah.
The expected path. Is that how I would say it?
Yeah.
The expected path. So the pressure was even like you already have all this pressure growing up in the spotlight. Now you are someone that people may not agree with, and you're the spotlight. Like even the stuff they talked about with their conversations about how hard that was. I was like, I can't even imagine.
And
no wonder Henry kind of hides himself for a while. Like he's like, you don't understand. I can't do everything. I just can't.
I can't do it.
I can't tell my family everything. It's too much.
Right. And for Alex, he does have like the familial support. Like I think he does feel like that, people will support him and his choices and this, that, the other, but you still have to be aware of the fact that it may impact everyone beyond you. Like you're not making the choice to come out just for yourself.
Yeah.
It's when do I come out? How do I come out? How am I going to play this? He has a reputation of being like a party boy.
Yep.
So it's definitely not going to be expected on his front from the reputation that he's built for himself.
Yeah. So I wonder, I just thought of this because the difference granted, Alex's dad supports him as well, but Alex's famous parent is his mother more so.
Mhm.
She's the president.
Yes.
Where his dad is the king, right? I mean, like, obviously his mom's a queen too, but his mom's still just a princess, I think.
Yes.
So it's interesting. You have the matriarchal versus a patriarchal family. You could bring into that too in terms of, is that why his mom is kind of like, I mean, she's already defied American stereotypes by becoming a female president. So maybe she's a little more understanding about this is how we do it. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. Where Henry's like, you don't understand. This is like generations of old school royalty. They do not get it.
Yeah. And I think that's, if we jump past the next thing on our plot lines list to the duty versus personal desire, like I think that ties really well, is there's for both of them, there's like familial expectations. What does your family expect you to do? What are they? And that's not even just about their identities, but like you're expected to be at these events. You're expected to represent the family. You're expected to say certain things. Yeah. When they kind of force this fake proximity, like friendship, you're expected to be nice to each other, even though we know you don't actually like each other at this point. And that falls under like a family expectation and also an actual duty. You have to do that because it's a political machine in the United States and it's a royal machine, over in England, where what your personal desire is does not play in. Right. You have a job to do, even if it's not the job you applied for.
Right. Right.
And they're both dealing with that. And I think that's where they find a lot of like camaraderie. But I thought was interesting in the book, and I think this is super relatable. It's just, again, it's like on steroids.
Yeah.
What expectations and limitations do you put on yourself that maybe are not necessary? Because I think there was a lot of anxiety and worry on both Alex's part. And Alex, I feel like, was a little more anxious in the book than in the movie.
Yeah.
Henry obviously is like terrified at what the fallout might be.
And I think Henry puts more of those expectations on himself because of the tradition.
Yes.
Because the monarchy is so much tradition versus, again, you have a divorced female president who not only that, her children are biracial. So you have like a lot of things all together making America seem more progressive versus England. It's like, no, you don't understand. We've had kings and queens for generations. This is just how it's done. And I think because of that, Henry is not totally ready to accept the fact that maybe England has also changed.
Right.
Like maybe,
I think
maybe you're the one saying that
there.
This is going to be a problem, and really it's not such a problem.
Yeah. So on top of that, which is kind of like the duty versus personal desire, the growing up with the spotlight is like very serious. Like it's like heavy topics. But Casey McQuiston with her tropes and banter is so good. And this one, I know I brought it up earlier, but it's enemies to lovers. But I like the enemies to idiots to lovers. And a fake friendship. Like I like how she takes a trope and like twists it because it's not like Henry and Alex weren't like, do you want to form an alliance? They were forced into this friendship, like kicking and screaming.
You guys screwed up. You have to fix it by being friends.
And they were like, fuck you. Like, no, thank you. I do not want.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the banter parts that I love the most is when they're having their Star Wars argument.
Yes.
That is such a like Gen X millennial thing or whatever. It's like, what's your favorite? Anyone who's like millennial will be like Return of the Jedi because the Ewoks, and anyone like a Gen X or like I went and saw Empire in the theater. I'm like, Empire Strikes Back.
That's the one.
Like that's the one.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one I rewatched every single time.
It was so nerdy. And I'm like, I love this.
Yes.
It's so
funny.
And
I think you just said something that was like another reason why this book hit really big. Because there was other books that were similar at the time, right?
No, but like, this one definitely,
I think this one hit because we've talked about this before with other rom-coms.
Yeah.
These guys are in their 20s. So they're not teenagers. They're not little, but they're not really adults. But there is something like distinctly Gen X coded and millennial coded about some of the banter that as the readers, you can go, like, I'm with you on this one. And that's kind of, we've had this discussion too about how many things do you put in that like dates something.
I know.
And I think she found the sweet spot of like, everyone can get into a Star Wars argument. Because either you love it and you have very, very concrete opinions on it.
Yep.
Or you're just like not a Star Wars person.
Yep.
But if you are, you're locked in on which ones are the best. You're locked in on how you feel about the prequels. You have thoughts about the new three.
Yeah.
Like anyone can like kind of dive into those conversations.
And they would get in like arguments about it, like multiple Star Wars arguments. And I'm like, I love this so much. And who's Han and who's Leia and everything. And I'm like,
yes. Because we've all had those conversations.
My husband and I got each other the exact same anniversary card one year.
Yeah.
Do you know what one it was? It was the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
Where Leia says, I love you. And on the inside, Han says, I know.
Yeah. I have that card somewhere too.
Yeah. Like we got it for each other. We were dying of laughter as we opened it up. Yes.
But I bought this for myself. I was like, this card's for me. I also have, we're getting wildly off topic. This entire basement is full of Star Wars memorabilia. But I have and have had since high school a life-size cardboard cutout of Han Solo that I take from house to house.
You throw a lot away, but not Han Solo.
Han Solo stays. I bring it with me everywhere I move. For a while, it was in the library. It's like
I would want him in my classroom. Like,
well, I haven't had like a real classroom in a while, so I'm like considering. Like, I got to see what my room looks like next year. Maybe I'll have him like saying something, like he can be imparting knowledge. But the minute you bring it up as a topic, like, there's a certain audience that's going to dive right in. And I think
don't they talk Lord of the Rings too at one point? I feel like they kind of nerd out about a few things. Yeah.
And I think Casey McQuiston does a great job of like weaving those things in so that you have these very heavy kind of topics and thoughts and feelings and the anxiety and the fear.
Yeah.
And then you're arguing about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Or cracking jokes about
or
whose
pardoning the
name
turkey.
is more of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Like
pardoning the turkey. He's like got the turkey, the Thanksgiving turkey, because why should the taxpayers pay for it to be in a 5-star hotel? And so Alex like has it in his bedroom.
Yeah.
And he's texting Henry about this turkey. Like they're having random, it's like Alex finds in Henry someone he can have the random conversations with that he can't with anybody else. He's like, well, so if we're going to fake it, I guess I might as well tell you about the stupid shit happening in my life. And it ends up becoming the important stuff.
Right. Because that is the important stuff.
Yes.
And I think that that was another thing that was so well done. That kind of like, it's not a slow burn, but it is a slow burn. Because obviously they're like making out. But like the actual connection of a relationship beyond the fact that like Henry has had a crush on Alex forever.
Yes.
And never thought that it could be reality for him, which again, I think is another way that he's put expectations and limitations on himself. He just figured no fucking way when really Alex is like open for business. Like it can be a thing. But I think there was like a really quick connection kind of like with the attraction, but then they kind of really connected over all these little things that really only they
would know about.
Could
because of what we talked about earlier, because of the fact that they are, you know, this life that they lead.
Yeah.
Only certain people are going to understand it.
And if we even just talking about the turkey, like Henry's going to go, like sometimes being this person is ridiculous. Like the things you're expected to do. Other people would be like, you got a turkey in your room? Like,
I know.
What? Whereas Henry could be like, that tracks.
He's like, tell me. He's like, tell me about it. Why do you have this? You know?
Yeah.
I wrote down 2 quotes that I found. I was listening to it, so I didn't write it down, but I was like searching the internet. One.
Yes.
Can't you ever just do one thing without having to be so goddamn extra about it? But this was my favorite. I drank like 9 Red Bulls to get through all those and ate a weed gummy to level back out. So I'm flying at fasten seatbelts right now. But that's just the kind of banter you get, the kind of writing even that Casey does.
And it's very like quick-witted. Like there's lots of times when I was reading it and again, even watching the movie where this back and forth banter is the kind of stuff us mere mortals think about after the fact.
Right.
Like you're in a situation, you're like, man, I should have said.
So many things. I was like, so many times I was like, he's really good at like top of the head. I'm going to tell you off because I would be like,
right. I'd be like,
and then go to my room and go, damn it, I should have said this. That was one of the things I thought. I was like, wow, they're both so quick at each other to just like,
and I'm well matched. Which obviously for a rom-com, that's kind of the point.
Yes.
Like they're perfectly matched for each other.
Right.
But then on the flip side, she has like very, very sweet comments. Like there's this really nice balance between the snarky banter and things like the one quote I put down for the whole enemies to lovers and the fake friendship. It was a forced proximity, forced friendship.
I loved this. I did like this
and
quote. Yeah.
They didn't want to do it at the start and they were kind of fighting it tooth and nail until they realized that like maybe they do love each other. But the quote that's the choice. I love him with all of that because of all of that on purpose. I love him on purpose, which is such.
I would say I love the on purpose part.
That's
because
the part that really
you get the whole I fell in love with someone because despite them or spite of everything. No, like would you fall in love with someone on purpose? Like you put
you chose it.
Chose to do this specifically. I when I saw you wrote that quote, I was like, that is a beautiful.
And I the other night was feeling some sort of way and watched Pride and Prejudice because we were talking about it.
I need to buy it because I have it on DVD and I'm always too lazy to stick the DVD in. I just need to.
I rented it. I should just buy it. I rent it for $3.99 every time. Yeah, and then swoon. But it reminded me of kind of the journey that Dear Mr. Darcy goes on, where he starts with this idea of like, despite all of the problems that you bring to the page, like despite everything that I hate, I still fell in love with you somehow.
Yes.
And in that sense, it's a very like, I don't know how the fuck this happened. You drive me nuts. I don't like your family. I don't like all these other things. But for some reason, I'm like enamored with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And which is romantic in its own way, mostly because of how it's presented in the story, where if someone in real life said that to me, I'd be like, the fuck are you talking about? Like,
right.
why would I fall for that line?
Yeah.
But in this case, it's the same idea of like, I love him with all of that and because of all of that, not in spite of all of that.
Right.
Which is such a different choice because it's acknowledging that there are definite baggage, there's definite issues. This is not going to be an easy life to choose, but I'm choosing it anyways.
Right. And I think because both royalty and celebrity, essentially, they can't always choose.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so the fact that that whole on purpose means more. Just like when Alex's mom at one point says, like, is this going to last? Because if you're going to do this and you're going to come out, it needs to be big. It needs to be because this is your forever. And I was like, I kind of like that because those are things that we non-famous people do not have to think about.
Right.
But she's also kind of right. Like, you don't want to keep being in the spotlight.
I think that to your point that like his mom is so acutely aware of how the political machine works.
Yes. Yes.
And can offer like a unique perspective on you can make whatever choice you want, but if you're going to do it, let's do it big.
Yeah.
Like and again, it comes down to that on purpose. Mm-hmm. Like rather than it being letting someone else tell the story or someone else make the choice, choose it on purpose. And that makes me think a lot about like we always see celebrities who are like supposedly gay or they're like forced to come out. I immediately was thinking of Kit Connor from Heartstopper. Did you watch that show?
I didn't.
It's pretty good. I like that's one. It's good.
Elena loved it. My girls they read it.
Definitely like I was too old to really connect to the storyline. I was like, oh, it's cute. Like
my kids were like early teenagers and loved it. So
my students were obsessed with that. I watched it and I was like, well done. Kit Connor, phenomenal actor, but had not at that point come out. And the pressure was so much that he finally like very frustratingly and rightly so was like, fine, like here's the answer you're looking for.
Right, right.
I wasn't ready to tell everyone, but you won't stop. And that I think is a fear that I'm blanking on the mom's name besides just Mrs. Claremont, which is not Ellen. Ellen Claremont.
I was say Anne for a minute. I was like, no, but it's
right.
definitely a double.
That she had is that she wants him to be able to do it on purpose.
Yes.
Instead of having to play defense or to deal with the fallout of someone else picking the time, which I think kind of leads us down to, we're jumping all over the place, party use.
But we're kind of also like,
when we start talking about like the politics and the royalty, I mean, royalty is really politics too. So kind of the politics of the entire book and the way that Alex comes out, which I guess this is kind of spoiler territory at this point. Although this is an older book, so I don't feel like
it's not a total spoiler. I feel like because
I don't
not
feel
everyone is
tied into like this isn't a spoiler because I feel like
and the movie's been out for a long time. So even if you haven't read the book, most people have seen the movie. And,
one of the things that was an issue when the book first came out and had people talking a ton, and I think you put this in here, was that Alex uses his coming out speech to promote his mother's campaign.
That was an ick for me. That was one of those I was like, he had this great speech, and then it was like, and that's why you should vote for my mother. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about you, not your mom,
Right. It's an interesting, for me, like, one of those things, there's so many times where I'm reading a book that I'm like, I want more information. Like, I would like more background knowledge on how that decision was made.
Yes.
Because I think it does tie back to the conversation about if you're going to pick this, make sure it's your forever and make sure that you're ready for how it's going to go. Because I think he has political aspirations, obviously.
Yes.
Alex has some political aspirations.
Or at least he did for a while. I don't remember if he does at the end of the book or not, but he did for a while.
He has kind of come to terms with like the fear and the anxiety around the whole idea of coming out. And it's an interesting, like, go big or go home moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you tie it to your mom. And I just so desperately want to know how that came about. Like, is
Yeah.
that, like, which part came first? Like, were you doing a political stump speech? And you were like, you know what, Mom? You were right. I do need to pick a big moment to do this. Can I do it now?
Can I? Yeah. Yeah.
Can I tie it to this stump speech that I was already going to be doing?
Right.
Or,
because then it could have made more sense if it came out organically, like he was doing this, and then also like, but my mom's the one who supported me, and you all need to know that, which is why you need to. There's a way it could be written where it could come out organically.
Yeah, that was one of the only
like,
spots in the book where I was like, oh, like politics. Like, are you manipulating the crowd now?
Yeah. That honestly, that to me, we had a lot of conversations off camera about this over the last month. About things, but that's one of the things, because you did make me think. You brought up the point about because I said my two things being the politics were almost too hard to believe, and you brought up how many people won't suspend disbelief because it's an LGBTQ book versus a regular romance, and it made me go, would it bother me? Yes, it would 100% bother me in any book. I was like, no, it was almost like too many things.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, awesome. Female divorced president, awesome. Ends up having a gay son, awesome. But now we're turning Texas blue. And I was kind of like,
where is the line on
like,
that?
that's a little too, it was almost like a little too, too much.
And that's another one where, like, I felt like if I had more background information, like, how did Texas turn blue?
Right.
Which has nothing to do with the story.
Exactly. But it's one of those, it was one of those, like,
it doesn't need to be in the story. Yes.
But I did think that was a good point that you made, though, about some people, are they able to suspend their disbelief for all books, not just for books that you.
Yeah.
It did make me think. It was like, it made me sit there one night and I was like, am I judging this too harshly? Am I?
And I was
we'll get into it. I appreciated that because I was like, it does make you think. And that's what we wanted it to do, you know?
That was a question that was asked of a group of librarians, 10, 11 years ago, maybe. And it was not about LGBTQIA. We had an author, I'm going to blank on his name. He does elementary school books.
Okay.
I'm going to look him up right now. Danny Dollar's Lemonade Stand, The Millionaire Extraordinaire. Author is Ty Allen Jackson.
Okay.
He came to talk to us as librarians. And this was when we really had a huge push for diversifying our collections and doing it intentionally. Like, not just like, I have books that show all different kind of people on the cover. What are the books about?
Right.
And he talked extensively. He was a teacher. He wanted to teach his students about money. He had predominantly African-American students. Okay. And he wanted a book that they could relate to. And he went to the store, to Barnes & Nobles or Borders or whatever. And there was a display of like Black books, and everyone was about suffering. And he made this great point at the time that because that's what we see as consumers and readers, it makes us kind of code how we view a book through a lens of, are these people suffering enough? As opposed to just general joy.
Yeah.
So as we started to work on this collection development project, we asked ourselves that question over and over again. Was, if the main character was someone different, would we have the same issue? And sometimes the answer was no. Like, nope, that would bother me no matter what.
Definitely. Yeah.
And sometimes the answer was, I think I would have viewed it differently. And I used, when I was thinking about this book, I used the Princess Diaries, which is the one with the Queen of Genovia, Anne Hathaway.
Princess Diaries,
Where like this idea of like, anyone can be a royal, anyone can, and you really have to suspend your disbelief that that Julie Andrews can turn her into a princess.
Right.
And would I have had the same issue in a book if it was a girl versus a boy? Or if it was a different marginalized community? It does make you like pause and go, oh, like, because sometimes the answer is yes. And sometimes the answer is no. I absolutely could not believe that Texas is a blue state in any scenario, which is realistic because like there ain't no way.
And honestly, when this when this was written,
2019,
2020 or whatever.
Yeah.
the United States was vastly different even. I think it's
Right.
probably easier to believe back then than it would be today.
That
I
is
think
true.
it's really hard to believe that today.
Yeah.
Just for where
It
we
would be interesting to like this is kind of nerdy research I would dive right into to be like,
Yeah.
what was the like
Yeah.
election breakdown
Was it
in
close? Maybe it was close back in
maybe it was
2020 or
closer and
2016 or something, and they
right. And it would have been a one issue thing that could have tipped it the other way.
yeah.
You never know.
What you were saying about like kind of almost the overdone thing, like Black people with suffering. That is one of the things. The other political ick I had, the other ick,
Yes.
was Richardson finally coming out as a creepy pedophile.
Yeah.
Maybe because I have read limited books on
Mhm.
LGBTQ,
Yeah.
plus whatever. I am tired of them all coming out after being attacked by a pedophile
Mhm.
because I think that you're giving the wrong message. That
I
anyone who's had this happen, it means that they're
yeah.
gay, and I'm like, no, that doesn't. You don't
I think
turn gay like that. It's
yeah.
not how it happens.
I think that it's not as overplayed in books as it may seem.
I'm thinking
there's
what it is
very,
probably.
very few books that
I'm
I've
thinking
read
it's.
where that's the case.
I'm thinking it's a lot of mainstream fiction where it might be a
Yeah.
gay character in. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that the majority. That's not the right word. So it's like the popular best-selling New York Times best-selling that happens to have a gay character, and comes out later.
Yes.
So that people like me.
Right.
That's what you're and that's wrong. That's to me, it's an improper stereotype.
Yeah. And that's
So
another one of those like
when I read that, I was like, oh, come on. Can we?
Yeah. It's not
Creepy. I don't know that it was necessary that we learned that he was that creepy.
Yeah.
I
don't know that it added to the story.
It didn't. Yeah, I guess that's how I felt too.
It was kind of a plot line that felt like they were looking for something to be shocking, but I don't know that it was necessary.
Right.
For that to play out that way. I don't think I read a lot of queer books.
Yeah.
It's not something that is a plot line a lot.
A plot line
or even like a side plot line. Yeah. I think that's a kind of a stereotype that like you said, gets stuck into other books.
I would say then it could be literally a stereotype that people write about because they don't know. Because they're not writing queer books, they're writing books that happen to have a queer character.
Right.
And they think
like,
that's how, and it's
what
like,
happens.
no, exactly. Yeah. And you're like, no.
And there is, always the argument that the creepy pedophiles target people who are less likely to speak out because maybe they're not out of the closet. They're not, they have their own secrets that they're
questioning themselves,
or
they're questioning themselves because of the age or whatever, and so that's easy. Easy.
So it's a plausible plot line to put in terms of like, well, that's who this creeper would totally target.
Let's see quotes. We have some. The resolution we did talk whether it was tied up too neatly.
Yeah, I don't know that it was
unrealistic that England would support a gay heir. I do not think it's too unrealistic.
I don't think it's unrealistic.
No. I actually think that I'm surprised it hasn't happened.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's how progressive things are.
Yeah.
Over there, I think that they would not give a crap.
Right. I don't know that I would say it was tied up too neatly. I think this is a problem I have. So this may be a me problem. This is a problem I have with a lot of romantic comedies. Tied up too quickly.
Yes.
Is that you have so much buildup and so that whether it's miscommunications, whether it's all these like for this one, all the expectations that are like falling on top of them. And then it just ends and it's a happy ending. I like the happy ending. I like the resolution. I don't think it's too neat necessarily. I think it was a bit abrupt. But again, that's a problem I have in like almost every romance. So I think it's kind of a hallmark of the genre that like we go through all of this and then it gets tied up in a pretty bow. But a lot of times I'm like, already like that easy.
I want you out more.
Yes.
One of the parts of the book that I really, really did love is when Henry comes out, not his way, obviously, and he doesn't even have time to do a speech.
Right.
And he's so scared of what the people of England think, and they just support him.
Yes.
And his sister is like, look at that. I'm like, that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
For anyone who has struggled with feeling accepted.
Yeah.
And he's just like devastated. Like, I just let down an entire kingdom, basically. And they're like, no, you didn't. We love you. We don't care.
Yeah.
And I was like, that makes my heart so happy.
Right. Because it was more about the person than
those are the parts of the book I loved. That I was like, this is the way it should be.
Yes.
And I don't think that's unrealistic at all.
I don't think it's unrealistic either.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's maybe, I don't want to say unlikely, like, because I don't mean like it won't happen. I mean, unlikely to have that moment right now. Like, I don't know that there is an heir that would come out right now that would force the issue. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how likely we are to see it happen.
I know.
But I don't think it's unrealistic that it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think in politics, it's much more likely to have a situation like the Claremonts, because they're just maybe not at the presidential level, but there are just so many politicians. Yeah. Like, so many opportunities. Whereas the royal family, you only have the one family.
You only have the one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's not as many opportunities.
I think England's a little more progressive in that regard than a lot of American politics are. I feel like
in American politics, it depends on where you are.
Right. And I feel like England is kind of like, who cares?
Yeah.
A little bit more. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're like, who cares unless it's our royal family.
Right. Like, and someone over in England, if we have any listeners in England, maybe listening to this right now and being like, y'all don't live here. You have no idea what you're talking about. And that would be accurate. We don't live there. We don't know what we're talking about.
We don't know.
We're making
really have
assumptions,
no idea.
but it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was some political quotes that I tossed in here.
Yeah.
That I really like. And tied to politics and the resolution. Yeah. And the one that this is like the one that's quoted everywhere, which is super cute. But it's the thinking about history makes me wonder how I'll fit into it one day, I guess. Mm-hmm. And you too. I kind of wish people still wrote like that. History, huh? I bet we could make some. That last little part is the piece that's everywhere. Like, I bet we could make some.
It's very Hamilton-ish. In a good way. Like, it's just that whole thing of like, this is what we do. Yeah. History isn't just to be followed, it's to be made. Like, yeah.
And I think that the whole quote, the thinking about history makes me wonder how I fit into it, is such a good encapsulation of how both Alex and Henry felt about their place in the world, like outside of the romance. Like, I think they were both like super struggling to see where they fit in to a history that hasn't been written yet. Right. Because there's no reasonable belief that it won't be written. You're going to be mentioned in the history books.
Well, even
gonna happen.
Henry already mentioned he's the spare. He's like, I know I'm not going to be king, so what am I going to be? Like, right. Like, and regardless of who he loves, he's also lost in terms of, what does this mean for me? Like, I could always stay single my whole life. You know, I literally could be that. They don't care if I marry because I'm the spare. So it doesn't matter. But also, he wants to do something that's meaningful. And
and he wants to share it with someone.
And
he wants to share it with the person that he loves and not the person that presents the picture that he thinks he's supposed to present.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then I put the take anything you want and know you deserve to have it, which I thought was like just a good resolution kind of quote of, you spend this whole book not knowing what you, not even what you want, but what you're allowed to have. Like, at a certain point, they figure out what they want. They very much would like to be together officially, publicly, legally, forever. But they don't, I think at that point, they're like, we want these things, but we don't deserve to have them.
Yes. Yeah.
And then by the end, you know that
like, no, you do deserve it. You do deserve it.
Like, you deserve happiness, a happiness of your own making as much as everyone else does.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the movie, we already kind of talked about it quite a bit already.
It's hard not to tie them together.
I liked that the two icks that I did not have were not in there. Because I was like, I just didn't think that they were necessary. I also remember it more, and it might be the same in the book, but I think it's Alex's speech to Henry when he goes to England to basically be like, come on, just, it's going to be okay. We're going to do
Yeah,
this.
we're going to do this together.
And I was like, that is so, like, his plea to, like, I love you and you love me, let's be together,
Yeah.
was spot on. I
Yes.
was like, yes, that is
yep.
how you convince someone
That's how you do it.
to, like, you know, damn the torpedoes, as they say, and just
Yeah.
do it. Like, that's
Just do
kind of, it was kind of like, I'm right there with you the whole way. This is how it's going to be. So, is there a sequel? Is there a
there's
royal
no
wedding?
sequel book.
But the movie, right?
There is a sequel movie.
That's what I thought.
It's maybe has just completed filming or is in
I was like, I feel like I remember reading that a royal wedding was coming out.
It is a red, white, and royal wedding. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because I feel like the movie was complete. Like I think it left us off at like a great point. I don't know that a sequel movie is necessary, but because they did such a good job with the first movie, I don't really have a lot of like
people want to see them married because they liked the characters. So
right.
But
and the
sometimes
actors,
that changes. Like sometimes you get that second movie and you're like,
right. So
I was happy in my head knowing
Galitzine. Yeah. I never pronounce his last name right. Nicholas Galitzine and Taylor Zakar Perez are both coming back. And obviously they had like all the chemistry in the world. So I'm excited to see them on the screen again. Yeah. But obviously they're not telling anyone anything about the plot. And I want it. I want to know what it is. Cause I think that's gonna be the clincher.
Well, I'm always too, my question is always, what's the conflict going to be?
That's what I mean. They went through so much to be together. Just let them be together.
Yes.
And again, the plot may be amazing. Like maybe they are together. Like maybe there is no like third act breakup in the movie. Maybe it's the movie. So the movie I was thinking about when I was thinking about how this movie could come together in a way that like I would appreciate is Father of the Bride, the movie Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
Where the conflict is the planning of the wedding.
Is the planning of the wedding, not the
at no point is the couple like broken up or trying to like figure their lives out. They're locked solid, but it's the conflict is the bringing of the two families together. It's more of like a caper madcap, wedding chaos.
Yes.
And there is another book coming out, but it's a companion book. Right now it's slated to come out December 1st.
Oh, okay.
It is the private correspondence.
Oh.
So it's
letters between them.
Yeah. It's red, white, and royal blue 1.5, which makes me feel like there could potentially be a 2 someday, but that hasn't been announced. But the synopsis on Goodreads is it's a brand new novella told through notes and letters, continuing the unforgettable love story that captured hearts around the world. Okay. After the email leak that made Alex and Henry front page news worldwide, they vowed to never use email again for their personal correspondence. Still, they love to write to each other, so they borrowed a trick from their predecessors, and they are sending handwritten love letters.
Aww.
Red, white, and royal blue, the private correspondence, delves into the intimate archives of Alex and Henry, spanning over 20 years.
Oh, I love
since the fateful day that Alex and Henry joined together on the world stage. This novella includes personal letters, postcards, journal entries, and more, sharing everything from sarcastic bon mots to sexy fantasies to emotional discussions about wanting to start a family, giving readers a compelling insight into the long-term futures of Alex and Henry, as well as some of the beloved supporting characters. I like the idea that this gives you like a
look into
the longevity
future.
Of it.
Yeah, but not in a like we're going to tell you the story kind of way. It's like you get snippets,
snippets. Yeah. So I'm very excited about that.
Okay, yeah,
and I like the idea that this is like you're only getting what they give you, like the things they wanted to say to each other, but it's going to be. But spanning 20 years is what I was like, oh, yes. And you're not necessarily getting the other person's thoughts either. How sometimes in the book, like this person says something and the other person, you get their reaction right away. No, this is just, I'm telling you my thoughts in a letter and I have no idea how you're going to take it. Like, I love the idea of I think that's a thing we've lost as like a society with like higher tech is the handwritten letter.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said for like write it down in the letter because then you can at least like say what you need to say and set it aside. I think that's something that we've lost as a society.
Yep.
Cutting back in the idea of a correspondence of being able to like share whatever thoughts are in your head in a non-immediate fashion. Because now if you have something, you're like, I'm going to say it right now. And then you fire a text off and the other person doesn't have time to, because there's always this feeling of I must respond right now. So then it becomes like this very quick back and forth where no one is processing what's being said. Everyone's just trying to like get their next thought out. Where with a correspondence, like with Alex and Henry sending letters and postcards, you're saying these things that you're feeling right at this moment. And then the other person gets to like receive them days later.
And even there's few things with writing because writers do this. Authors do this too. When you're just writing, it's a lot harder to like delete. I don't want to say it that way. But also you think about it typically. Mm-hmm. Like as you're sitting down and writing, or some people are like, I'm going to write a letter later today. Like old school. I'm going to sit down and write to my mother tonight. And the whole time they're thinking about what they want to say. Yeah. So it gives you a little more think time, but also not too much think time. Because when you're writing, you can be, a lot of authors will say that. there are so many authors that still handwrite in notebooks and don't type until the first one because they're like, otherwise you get too wrapped up in deleting. Yeah. Or I'm not going to say this, or I don't want to.
Yeah. Forget who it was. It was an author that I saw speak, talked about how they do type, but they got hung up on this doesn't fit here, so I'm going to save it over here. And then later they went and looked at all these like cut scenes and they were like, it was so overwhelming. Yeah. All of these things that
were like,
now what do I do with it?
Yeah.
Whereas if you were just kind of handwriting it and processing it, like you have more time, more think time to.
And I have that. I have chunks where I've like, when I was writing that I would take out and I would put and be like, I might do something with this scene someday.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I don't know what to do with any of that.
This
is a really good scene, but it didn't fit with either book and I don't know what to do with it. So
yeah, maybe someday it'll come back for the next book. So we're excited about the movie. We're excited about the book tie-ins. So many things that are coming up.
The potential sequel.
The potential sequels, which would be amazing. But we're also excited because we have changed up our format just a little bit. It's been a year and a half. This is episode 33.
33, yeah.
So we were thinking about different ways to tie in the travel and eat sections of this podcast. In the past, we've kind of looked at what locations were in the books. We've looked at what foods were mentioned, and we decided to branch out just a little bit. We are going to pick, starting this week, starting with this book, pick one location from the book and dig into some things that we think we would enjoy doing there and how we would go about doing that. And then we're going to talk about some food and drinks and snacks that are inspired by the book. So first up, we have our location features. Sarah, what did we pick?
One of the places that Alex takes Henry is Lake LBJ in Texas. Mm-hmm. And I immediately was like, LBJ, what the heck? Lyndon B. Johnson. Like I knew right away. I was like, Lake Lyndon B. Johnson? What the heck?
What a great lake name.
I know. And then Alex kind of talks about it. And then it makes me Google because I'm like, wait, there's a whole bunch of lakes in Texas. I need to know this.
Yeah. I also immediately turned to Google because every time there's some place that like sounds interesting, I'm like, how far of a drive? Like I immediately am like, how fast can I get there? Mm-hmm. I'm in north of Denver, Colorado. So I'm almost at the Wyoming border. And everything in my mind, because I now live in like the center-ish of the country, everything's a weekend trip. Anything can be a weekend trip if you try hard enough.
Yep.
Lake LBJ, 14 hours for me. So it's like a long weekend trip. It's doable. But as I was reading up about it, it's northwest of Austin. It's in the Texas Hill Country. What I thought was interesting is it's kind of like it makes total sense that the Claremonts have a place there because it's a like well-to-do kind of area.
Yes.
But it has constant water level. So they regulate the water so that it is always ready for a weekend party.
Because it's a reservoir, which for me, always being from Michigan, I mean, we have thousands of lakes in Michigan. We don't have reservoir. Water is not an issue in Michigan. And so when I see that whole reservoir where people are like, you got to be careful in it. You can't pee in it when you're there. What do you mean you can't pee in it? I pee in our lake all the time,
Tons of reservoirs here.
Yeah. California is the same way. I just don't think about it. So the fact
but even our and maybe because we are also wildfire country, our lakes are never there's never a consistent water level.
Yeah.
So we have Horsetooth reservoirs right up. It's right above my house. And you never know what the water level is going to be there.
Right.
And some of the other reservoirs, the water gets pulled to fight fires. So ours is never constant. But it was interesting, okay, so it's got a constant water level, which means it's real high-end real estate because people are paying for the luxury of knowing you can always go boating, fishing, this, that, the other. And I thought it was interesting, too, when I was, Googling around. One thing that was, pointed out in many locations was that it's a locale for major patriotic celebrations. I was I don't even I want to know more about what that means.
I want to go. I bet 4th of July's killer there.
Right. It's a very, it definitely has a vibe and an aesthetic.
Now that you say that about the water levels, that makes so much more sense too. Because obviously living on lakes, I'm a block away from Spring Lake. The water levels fluctuate, and I mean 10 to 12 feet at times. And so if you live on the lake, sometimes you have to have a dredge come because you can't get your boat to your dock.
Yeah.
Because of that. Or even Lake Michigan, I guess I could see the lure of constant water level because you would not have to worry about what's my dock doing? Where's my boat?
Right.
Can I get in here?
We had a lake cabin up in the Adirondacks for a while, and there was one year where everybody's docks were totally messed up.
Say New York would be the same. We have a lot of lakes,
tons of lakes.
Northern.
Not so in Colorado.
No,
that's not a thing.
You have the mountains. That's
we have
what
the
you
mountains.
get.
It's great. We have alpine lakes way up there, but no one's living there.
No one's living there.
Yeah, I thought that the constant water level got me. I was that is a huge draw.
It's a huge say, yeah.
And then because of that, you have year-round activities.
Yeah.
So I was looking for if I approached this kind of if I was going to visit Lake LBJ, what are the things I would want to do? The first one, I love fishing. I fish multiple times a week. I've got the rack on my car, so my fishing poles are always with me. I, right out the gate, would definitely rent a boat and go fishing on the lake. You can rent them right at the marina. Actually, not super expensive. I was digging around and get out there and fish. Because if I'm going to spend, I'm not a big swimmer. I don't like swimming.
Yeah.
So much. It makes my hair fade. But I do love fishing. So I would go fishing. And then the second one is a controversial to me choice. I have a very rational, I want everyone to understand, we'll dead into the camera. It is very rational. I have a rational fear of bats. Because when I was a child, we had bats in our house. Specifically in my closet. So if I was going to get clothes, I had to open the door and swat it with a tennis racket and wait for the bats to flutter away. Sometimes they would get into my house. You'd have to hide. You'd have to kill them with a tennis racket and a steak knife.
Yep.
I am petrified of bats. I am also completely captivated by
Fascinated by them? Same.
Absolutely. I'm terrified of bats. I want nothing more than to be able to go into a cool cavern and enjoy it. Because it's so looking at the rock formations and how, whether it's water erosion or how the cave was formed, I'm so interested in that. And there is a cabin tours at Longhorn Cavern State Park.
I would 100% do that.
Right? It's a developed path along an ancient underground riverbed. And if you go on their website, there's so much historical information, which is obviously my jam. I love learning about the history of different areas. And I think going on a tour would be so, so interesting. And I want to do it so bad. I also know I would lose my shit. I don't care how hot it is. I'd be 100% covered. I have a
Would you be worried that there'd be bats in there?
Yes.
Have
Very
you ever been
worried.
Mammoth Cave?
I didn't go in.
Oh,
I went and hiked around the outside. I didn't go in.
we went to Mammoth Cave over spring break, and I've been there twice. The first time we didn't see any bats. The second
So I'm
time,
terrified.
one was hanging on the wall, just chilling.
I couldn't do it. I
was
would
like,
cry.
and the other one flew over us, but we were in one of the areas that had like a 30-foot cathedral ceiling. So it
Yeah.
was like huge.
I have a huge fear that they're going to get tangled in my hair because that's
Yeah.
something I was told when I was a kid. So I would be fully hoodied up. If I had someone to use as a
Yeah.
human shield, I would use them as a human shield. I
See,
mean, what?
I've learned, I guess
can't
I've
do
learned
it.
if they're tangled in your hair, it's probably because they have rabies,
I know.
which is rare.
I know.
Because they don't they don't like land near you or whatever. And I have woken
can't.
up with
Well-
a bat in my room before, so I get it.
So absolutely fascinated by caves and bats. I have a bat
Yes.
tattoo on my leg. I want to not be afraid,
Yeah.
and I am just petrified.
I'm
But
getting there.
I would like to do it. I would like.
have a
I would
few
like to go
pair-
on a cavern.
We have
tour.
4 to 6 bats that live in our neighborhood, and I think because our backyard, is like clear of trees,
Yeah.
they just circle and eat all my bugs.
No,
And they're never really low. So I just stand on my deck and watch them, just like
I can't. I
circle
run
around.
inside. I can't do it. I'm terrified. But I shout out to Longhorn Cavern State Park. You sound really interesting.
I know.
And
It looks beautiful
absolutely
too.
would go.
It looks beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
And that was one of the ones I would have written down, but you already wrote it down. So I was like,
stole
what
it.
else? There's
Yeah.
actually a ton of stuff because Lake LBJ isn't the only
Mm-hmm.
lake there. There's a couple of vineyards. One of them is
I love that.
Perissos Vineyard and Winery. Looked interesting. Small family owned, one of those where they kind of wanted to start a vineyard, and I was reading on it. They had nothing there, but the soil was favorable, so they tried a bunch of grapes. Like they
Yeah.
just spent a couple years trying to see what would grow,
Yeah.
and they look like they have pretty fantastic tasting, and then you can get food. And my type
Yeah.
of place, I'd probably sit
Yeah.
and sip wine and everything.
I love
If
good,
you're a
like,
golfer,
winery.
there was
I
like
saw
10
that.
golf courses
Yeah.
and a frisbee golf or disc golf, as they
Disc
call
golf.
it, if you wanted
Yes.
disc golf. So,
Mhm.
and of course, food. There was some good looking restaurants, the
Yes.
Cowtown Texas Barbecue and Julie's Cochina. I was like,
yeah.
that sounds
That's the
amazing.
place.
Because actually,
I-
Cocina
Cocina.
in Spanish, Cochina in Italian. This is what sucks when you
Oh,
kind of learn
yeah.
Italian. I sometimes
Yeah.
pronounce my Spanish words wrong because
Yeah.
the C is different.
After kind of looking at all the different things you can do at Lake
Mhm.
LBJ, I was like, this is totally a place I
Yeah,
would
I'm
go.
super interested
so
now.
nice.
I'm like, I would go there.
We should someday when
I
we're
know.
retired, we can take an
Let's
RV
just
trip.
take
all the
all the
locations
places
that
we
talked
talked about.
Yeah. But bringing
All
up
right,
the
so
food
yeah,
is
I
a
was like,
nice
on to
tie-in.
some drinks.
So yeah, when we were talking about and I think we've talked about this in the past about we should come up with drinks and snacks and this, that, the other. So I went online. We talked about a bomb pop drink, which is what this was before, and now it looks like
It's
that.
very clear now.
It's very pink,
Mhm.
but I wanted to find one that was for adults with some alcohol and one that could be for anyone if you were just having a picnic. But I found Maine Spirits online, and I know I sent it to you and you looked. They have
They have a lot of
so
good stuff.
many cool drinks on their Instagram and on their website, but they have one that's a bomb pop cocktail, which I did not make because it's the middle of the day on a Tuesday. But it's vodka, lemonade, and blue Caraco and grenadine, and then they layer it up, and it looked
And it looks like a bomb pop.
delicious. It looks like a bomb pop.
Mhm.
And I love a slushy, but I also love kind of a boozy margarita kind of
Yeah.
slushy.
Yeah.
And then the one that I made, which is now a just pink mush, is a bomb pop slushy, which I just used Gatorade. I used blue Gatorade, red Gatorade, and I used Cool Whip in the middle to layer it to keep the flavors separated. And it was delicious.
And you could even do lemonade if you wanted.
You could do lemonade.
2 Gatorades and lemonade, like a cherry
Yeah.
Gatorade, blue raspberry, and lemonade would be
for sure
delicious.
I
as
went
well.
with Cool Whip because it is 100 degrees here this week.
Yes.
And I knew that whatever I made
Miserable.
was immediately going to start melting.
Yeah.
So I was like, I
Yeah.
need to put something with some substance in between the layers to try
to keep
to hold
yeah.
it together, which I think I have a picture. Hold on. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Looky there, friends.
It looks so pretty.
Right?
The red. Look at how red the red is compared to 10 minutes after you started drinking it.
So those were the 2 drinks that I came up with. And then I got a flat tire while bike riding yesterday, so I had a lot of extra time to think. And as I was walking my bike back the 2 miles to my truck, I was thinking about food because I'm always thinking about food. And then I was like, maybe I can make it productive and think about food that goes with this book. And I went with a red, white, and blue mini fruit tart.
Yummy.
Shout out to Sarah from the Passport to Fort Collins program, because we taught all of our students how to make mini fruit tarts earlier this year. And so like no bake ones. You can make it as difficult and involved as humanly possible, or you can make it in the world's easiest fashion, which is what I did because I'm not a good cook. I'm going to try and hold it up to the camera. I made it in a plastic container because that's what
you can just like,
But it's the bottom layer is just crushed up vanilla wafers and a little bit of butter to like make some substance. And then you can use whatever flavor, like I just used yogurt. So use whatever flavor yogurt that you want.
It's almost like a parfait.
It becomes a little bit like a parfait.
Or a,
and then you put fruit on the top and then you drizzle. I used blue agave, but you can use honey across the top to give it that like tart kind of thing. It's so good. So I made those. I also found a more involved recipe. So I'm going to share that too when we do some like social media posts. If you don't want to do just yogurt, you can add cream cheese. There's some ways to make it a little more.
They're so good too. Like for 4th of July, you can bake it like an American flag because it's red, white, and blue. Use strawberries, raspberries, blueberries.
And it's it took like 10 minutes. It's so simple. And then you just toss it in the fridge and let it set. So that's and then you got the snack.
Well, I would say I have the snack from the book, Jaffa Cakes.
Yep.
Because Henry eats them all the time, apparently. And I was like, I wonder if the store around me carries it. They do. And I learned, I bought them without even knowing what they are. Jaffa Cakes are sponge cakes with orange jelly covered with chocolate.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
So
is this your first one?
This is my first one.
I'm eating a tart. You're eating a Java cake.
It smells good. The chocolate smells good.
This tart's delicious.
Okay.
Try not to lean too close to my microphone while I chew.
I know. I think it's good.
I think it's okay.
Well, it's not. It is sponge cake, so you expect it to be crispy like a cookie, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
And then the orange and chocolate are like, like a chocolate with orange flavoring inside of it. That's what it tastes like. So it's that on top of like a sponge cake. That's pretty good.
Interesting.
So Jaffa Cakes. There you go.
I like that this is just part of the podcast is us eating.
Us eating now.
Just snacking away.
The other thing I actually was going to make this week, but it is also 100 here, and I do not want to, is barbecue ribs, Texas barbecue ribs.
I love barbecue.
And so I have a recipe that we will post our recipes.
Yeah.
I found this sweet and spicy barbecue rub, which is very similar to the one I use. I used to buy one and put it on. But I can't literally find anyone to credit on Pinterest. Like 10 different people have posted it and there's
no credit to it.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
If this is your recipe, claim it.
I think the secret to good ribs is a good rub, first of all.
Yeah.
I like sweet and spicy. I like sweet and spicy. So this one calls for brown sugar, paprika, chili powder, smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, cayenne, and mustard powder. A little bit different. Salt. If you're not salting your meat before you cook it, you should be, because it brings out the flavor.
Salting your meat.
I honestly, this one calls for paprika and smoked paprika. I love smoked paprika. I would just use smoked paprika. Use that. Like you can, But if you want a sweeter, you can always use like a sweeter paprika. Spanish paprika is really good as well. Things like that. I think the key with a rub, it's better to make it yourself because then you can put in what you like.
Exactly what you like.
I've also seen rubs without the mustard powder and adding cumin and thyme instead, or even a little bit of nutmeg. Like you kind of have to make it. And take
you have
it.
to give it a try and then adjust.
And then you're like, whatever, you make it a little more.
Yeah.
The way I cook ribs, and I do this all the time in the winter.
I love these directions that you put on here.
Slow cook them in the oven.
Yeah.
And you set it at 250 degrees for several hours. Like when I say several, I'm saying probably 5 or 6. You just know when they're done because when you take a fork, it falls off the bone. Like it really does. And the slow roasting it with ribs helps you to not, I think when people bake them too high or like do 350 for 2 hours or whatever, then you're going to get tough ribs. If you, it's the slow cooking at 250. I always make sure I start it by noon in order to eat it like 5 or 6.
Like dinner.
So that's why I think like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
And we always have had them just falls off the bone. And then you put whatever kind of barbecue sauce you want. I am a huge fan of Red State Barbecue. Not in Texas, but it's in Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah. And I'm going through withdrawal because I have not been down to Kentucky in over a year. And I need some barbecue. Yeah. So
I love barbecue. I am a horrible cook. There's like no two ways around it. I am I'm getting better. I want to be a good cook, so I'm practicing. But shout out to my parents if they're listening. We didn't season anything when I was a child.
Same.
No seasoning, no marinades. When I started teaching in the city, my students, the way they made fun of me for being the stereotypical white girl that because I do season stuff now, but not
I didn't even put
that they want me to season
on anything when I was a kid. And now I'm like potatoes without salt. Like that's what brings the flavor.
Yeah. I used condiments. Like I put ketchup on everything because I was like, that's how you give something flavor. I would put ketchup on chicken because we baked chicken in water. Mom, Dad. So it wasn't until I was in college that I realized that food could taste good. Be fun. Not that it tasted bad when I was growing up, but there was nothing to it. Do you know what I mean? It was just, it was food. I ate a lot of McDonald's because McDonald's was fun for me. But not barbecue is the one thing that I have not even begun to attempt to cook because it feels very overwhelming to me to so I
now you can recipe in there
so I can try
the ribs and
we do have I'm going to shout out my favorite barbecue joint here in Colorado. It's about half an hour from us. It's called Nordy's Barbecue and Grill. They are my favorite barbecue in the area and they let you order Thanksgiving dinner from them. Ooh. So you can order turkey breast and sides and you pick it up on Thanksgiving morning. You have to be there by 10 to get your food. Fun. And then all you got to do is warm it up. But it is so good. And that's what we've done for Thanksgiving for several years now because it's delicious. Yeah. So that's our food section. That was a whole journey.
It was
into
a lot
barbecue.
Of food, but that's good. We are read, eat, travel, repeat. We're supposed to talk about food and travel.
And I do love to snack and read.
Yes.
It's my favorite.
So how about we're about that time for some final thoughts of this.
I wish, I'm scrolling up and down on this outline. I wish our listeners could see the absolute TED Talk that I created in here because I had so many thoughts, which goes back to the thing we were talking about earlier where when you have time to process and can write everything down and you just I'm not going to read this because I think we talked about a lot of it.
You should make this as a Substack.
I think I probably will.
Make this part as a because I was part of it. I was I think we talked about this. Yep.
I think we talked about
a little bit. We talked about this, but I think it would make a really good Substack article.
So my final thoughts, when I was really thinking about it, I dug into the idea of representation and how important the book was. But I think the point I want to make mostly is I love this book. And I think what makes it so important, there's this idea that books have to be important or whatever, needed and whatnot. I think what made this book popular and what made the story, what's the word I'm looking for? Resounding is not the right word. Resonate. There it is.
Resonate. I was just going to say resound. No, resonate is right.
Resounding is not right. I think the thing that made this book resonate with so many people and kind of pushed it forward to a more worldwide kind of phenomenon is that it wasn't an issues important book at its heart. It was just a fun rom-com with the same kind of banter and shenanigans that we see in every other rom-com that comes across our plates. And I had a friend, I was chit-chatting with them as I was okay, I have so many thoughts about this book and we're going to be talking about it. And they summarized it so completely in one little sentence, shout out to Nana, was everyone deserves to have nice things. And that's kind of what hit this book for me. Is everyone deserves to have nice things. And this book was an important, nice thing for a group of people that maybe don't usually get nice things in the same way that other romances are written. So I wrote several paragraphs. I'm going to summarize my final thoughts with, I love this book because it reminded us that we all deserve nice things.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And now I'm going to scroll down.
And authors often write books that they want to read.
Yeah.
So right there, that's important as well.
Yeah.
You write you don't write what's popular. Some people do, but you write books that you want. So
yeah.
And
then it resonates with other people.
Yeah.
Because it's something that you wanted and needed. And suddenly there's a
Yes.
whole community going,
Yes.
me too. Me too. I do need that. I did need to see that. Yeah.
I liked this book. I wouldn't call it my favorite, but I did like it. I love the banter. I love the characters. They're so funny. I love Nora, who kind of like slides in as a side character. That is just, but when she would come up, she would say the funniest things, or you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. She's doing that. She did what?
Happening.
She's such a cool person. I do love the idea of a female divorced president. I love that. Love the trio. Love that it's like them helping each other through growing up under a microscope, basically.
Yeah.
I want it to be the world that we live in. And in a sense, it makes me a little sad that we don't live in that world yet.
Yeah.
Yet. The power of yet, right? We teach our students that, but
the power of yet.
Yeah. Like I sometimes when I was reading it, I was like, I wish this was true.
Yeah. Like this was true story, true life.
I love the idea of, we didn't talk the one part where when Alex comes out to her and she does like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
In the book. She does not do that in the movie. She says, if I had more time, I would have done a PowerPoint or whatever. Yeah. But I love that is her, like, she's the president. She's got to solve this problem. I'm going to do a PowerPoint.
This is how I'm going to organize my thoughts.
I'm going to help my kid get through it. We're going to solve everything. And so I'm going to do this.
One slide at a time.
Oh my God. So funny. So funny.
But also like so relatable.
Yes.
Come on.
And I think that's like any mom who's president is probably going to be like, okay, let's get a spreadsheet.
Let's use our resources. Yeah. For sure.
So I'm looking forward to if the second movie comes out. I will definitely watch it.
Yeah.
So.
I will do a whole like back-to-back movie marathon.
Yes.
Like I watched the first one, I watched the second one.
I
am much more excited. Not that I'm not excited about the movie. I'm much more excited about the companion.
The little
novella.
companion. Yeah.
I can't wait to get a hold of that.
Yes, for sure.
I'm very excited about that.
All right. Well,
that was a lot.
I know. We got a lot. It's just two of us and we still did a lot.
Wait, listen. Yep. I was like, maybe it'll be a little shorter. No.
All right. It's time now to reveal our featured book for August. Here are a few clues. First one, this author is basically a permanent resident of Marianne's favorite authors list. She's constantly telling us to read her books. We've definitely gushed about this one more than once on this podcast.
Clue number 2. We're thinking destination wedding, second chances, an amicable divorce that's maybe not as settled as everyone thought, and one very grumpy best man.
So clue 3, pack your passport. Our next featured book takes readers to the city of light, where old heartbreak, new romance, and a little wedding chaos collide.
Drum roll. Way back at the beginning, I would add the drum roll in afterwards, like an actual. I'd like find the sound and I'd be like, woo, drum roll, not just me banging on the table. All right. Have you figured it out yet? Our August book is The Paris Match by Kate Claiborne. So grab your copy and get ready to join us as we head to Paris for one of our favorite romances of the year. That's it for now. Thank you to everyone for joining us as we talked about red, white, and royal blue.
And if you enjoyed this episode, head to our profile, check out the other books we've featured so far, including books like Till Summer Do Us Part, These Summer Storms, Best Dog in the World, The Story Collector, and so many more. Like we said, this is episode 33, so we've got a lot of them.
So many books.
And if you're looking for book recommendations each month, we share what books we've read across every genre.
And if you are ready to dive into Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, or if you suddenly are considering overthrowing the monarchy, accidentally falling in love with your political rival, and wondering why your life doesn't come with a dramatic soundtrack, which honestly, like the soundtrack from the movie, top notch.
Oh, it's killer.
Right?
Yes. Love the soundtrack.
I love a good soundtrack. Well, you're in luck because you can grab Red, White, and Royal Blue along with all of our previous featured reads and plenty of upcoming picks over on our bookshop.org storefront. And as a bonus, every single purchase supports independent bookstores, which we love almost as much as forbidden romances, political chaos, and enemies to lovers tension and idiots to lovers. And books that make us say, this is a terrible idea. Please continue.
Mhm.
The link to our shop is bookshop.org/shop/RETR-book club, or head right to our website. The link is on the front page. Shop smart, shop indie, and read recklessly.
And we've got something new, our RATR Substack, where we keep the conversation going with behind-the-scenes thoughts, bonus content, all the things we didn't quite fit into the episodes. There definitely will be a few articles on this one.
Yes.
So don't forget to follow along, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a review. We genuinely want to hear what you think. And yes, we do read them, probably a little too obsessively.
I love a comment. Listen, I love reading comments. That's my favorite part of TikTok. If you're on TikTok, come chat with us on TikTok because
the comments.
Tell me your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And also let us know if there's a book you'd like to see us read or cover in the book club. We are only a few people. There are so many books in the world that we have not encountered yet, but we want to read them all.
We want to read them all. So.
All of them.
Well, until next time, keep reading.
Keep exploring.
And don't forget
to pack some snacks. In case anyone's wondering, we just did that for the first time. Look at us trying to talk at the exact same time. That's going to get better.
It will get
every
better.
episode. It will get better. We'll work on timing. Happy reading, everyone.
Yes.